What kind of a prison were you in? Was it like a federal maximum security?
Maximum security. And then as time went on, I wound up in medium.
Okay.
A medium. At the
Mediums
very
are still pretty violent.
Yeah. But they are. But you could avoid that. It's not like, again, like you see TV. There are prisons like that where there's just gangs and they're always, that's their life.
Yeah.
But most federal prisons are not that way. If you're not into
the state penitentiaries or
gay stuff, you'll avoid the fights. They'll actually fight over a guy. If you don't gamble, which I did every single day, but I made sure everybody had put the cash up. Stamps was cash in prison.
Yeah.
You want to bet a football game? Cash has to be put up. That was my main business, bookmaking, and I booked every day that I was away. I supported myself that way.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you, this is a funny story. I said it 1,000 times. You're allowed 3 books of stamps. Everybody's equal. You can't have more than 3 books of stamps because you can use that for currency in there.
3 books of stamps in what time period? Like
at any one time. Like if they come and shake my room down, my cell.
You can only have 3 in possession.
Right. If they see 10 books, they're going to write me up. Okay. Maybe I go to the hole. Maybe I get extra duty or whatever. When I got released, I had 2,000 books of stamps.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
What?
And I left them.
Fuck?
I left them in there with different guys. I gave one guy 500, one guy, so I made their time because you use them for. I pay a guy book of stamps to clean my room once a week. Pay another guy a book of stamps to bring me good food out of like broccoli and hard boiled eggs. I don't want to eat the garbage, so you can live a little better.
Right.
If you want to, if you got that mind, was always my mind. I says I'm going to put these 10 years back on at the end.
Were you still in contact with any of these mob guys when you were inside?
No, it's because everything's monitored. The phone calls, you can't really call.
Right, but didn't you say some of the guys, like one of the original bosses was still the boss after he got locked up?
Yes.
Like, how do you do that?
Visits. He would do on visits. He would have, Chucky was a captain. That was his nephew that would go visit him. His son would go visit. So he would and they put him all the way in California, Lompoc. And he still would get messages. And that was also a problem during the war because his brother Teddy was not very smart. He was respectfully, he was a simple-minded guy, okay? He wasn't shrewd. He wasn't street smart. But he was going, because he's a brother, he can go deliver messages. And he wasn't bringing the right messages back. Ultimately, we found out he was soft-coated because Vic made him a captain. So he sort of liked Vic. And I remember Junior saying, how do you make him a captain? His own brother. How do you make, but he did it with the Machiavelli tactic, by bringing one of the brothers as a captain. He's showing good faith.
Right. Right.
But he was bringing, like Greg would say, you bring this message to Junior and tell him that we are not going to stop shooting until the first word out of their mouth at the meeting has to be, you are recognized as the boss. Teddy would come back and say, nah, he wants you to keep talking. He wants peace. He wants peace. He wants to keep talking it out. And Greg told me there's no way Junior said that. There's no fucking way Junior said his message would be, take that cocksucker out.
Right.
One person he had to answer to in the whole wide world, Vic Arena, and he wasn't happy. That's the greed. That's that ego.
Yeah.
I want this position officially. You did have it. You were an official acting boss. So all you had to do was run the ship and split it with Junior. Mm-hmm. I think he was worried he was going to be knocked down when Carmine's son, Junior Persico's son, came home. And I don't think that was going to happen. I don't think that was the case. My personal, and I had conversations with Ali about it. I remember saying if he would have behaved, he could have kept the position. Mm-hmm. He says, I come out, I take that position, I'm back in the can in 6 months. So not immediately anyway. Maybe ultimately he would have wanted the position, but he was a cousin. He was Junior's cousin. So he should have been more loyal. Right. But Greg said he wasn't a powerful, tough guy. He was very big earner, big money. Mm-hmm. And Junior thought he could control him and never lose the power. But the problem was other people controlled him too.
Right.
Greg had said if he put a guy like himself, if he would put a guy like me, not me, Greg telling me this, or Joe T, named 4 or 5 guys, they would never try to take the family from Junior. You know? And anybody comes to tell them to do it, they're going to tell them, talk like that once more, you're dead.
Right.
You know, you're done.
Right.
I don't want to hear that. You know, Vic didn't do it. He listened. And then John Gotti was integral. Major problem for us because he wanted Vic to win. The reason is Vic's underboss, Joe Scarpa, grew up with John Gotti. And John, all the egos put together, his was still bigger. He wanted to be the boss of all bosses. There isn't anymore. There's equals. At the commission, they're all equal. But he wanted to have the strongest vote on the commission. So if Vic wins the war, and this came out later, it's a fact, they were going to kill Vic themselves and let Joe Scarpa become the boss. So him and John would have 2 votes on the commission.
And how much time did you actually end up doing in prison?
10 years. I got a 10-year sentence.
What was your whole trial? What was your whole thing like?
I didn't go to trial. I was offered the deal to tell them what I knew basically about the corruption. Mm-hmm. Okay? I walked out 3 times because they wouldn't let my partner Jimmy come in under the same umbrella as me. They wanted to catch him, he was on the lam. Jimmy was on the lam. I got arrested in Florida, in Cocoa Beach, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
I came down for a vacation after the war. I figured, let me just get out of here. I don't want this way. They don't see me around. And Jimmy and I had plans. He was going to come down and meet me, and we were going to drive off and go somewhere.
Okay.
We set up our pipelines and just to stay out of their faces. Time would have helped. Time would have helped because our boss, I confuse you with our boss all the time. This Joe T was our acting boss on our side for the Persicos. And he went on the lam. They caught him, I think, 5-6 years later, okay? And they made a deal with him like that for 5 years. And he's the boss, okay? Because there's new prosecutors. They have their own cases. They don't want this one thrown up now. So if we would have went on the lam, we would have probably got that same 5-year, 7-year deal, But ultimately, they says, okay, because they couldn't find them. They came back and they says, all right, we'll keep the door open for Jimmy. But, and I couldn't admit knowing where he was. So I says, I'll see if I can get a message to him and, I'll try through the grapevine, my family, if somebody can, I have no idea where he is,
Right.
I really didn't. But I knew how to contact him.
Right.
We had that, So he was able to come in and, I had to cop out to 0 to life. So if I would have lied or I would have gotten, if they would have found out that I didn't come clean on things that I did, I could have been charged or I could have got life. Ultimately, he gave me 10 years, the judge. And, the guys that, like Carmine got 3 years, Sammy got 5 years. So the guys that really give them a lot were getting the door immediately, But they didn't really like me because it was the corruption. It wasn't... not that they didn't like me, personally, but the case that I brought them was basically their own.